In America, everyone counts, and the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Respond today online, by phone, or by mail, and help inform hundreds of billions in funding for education, health programs, and more. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov. Well, the Jacob Blake's family, they held a peaceful gathering to keep the focus on getting justice for Jacob. It was held in the neighborhood where he was shot 7 times. Faith leaders and elected officials attended the event and speeches were given. The event also included a community cleanup, a healing circle, and a voter registration booth. Local businesses provided food and services. Guys, roll a video. Yeah, Donald Trump wasn't going to that part of Kenosha. Joining me now is Kendall West and Raymond Roberts, both of them in Kenosha, the African American club there. Glad to have y'all both here. Kendall, I want to start with you.
Having us.
Did y'all hear from the White House? Did the White House reach out to say, first of all, we saw one report where the White House announced that they reached out to Jacob Blake's family's pastor. They came out and said, we don't have a pastor. So who y'all talking to? And so the incident, the reason we're even talking about Kenosha, even if you want to complain about cars being set aside, businesses destroyed, that was all precipitated by the violence against Jacob Blake. Donald Trump didn't want to address that at all. This is really nothing but a big old show to boost up law enforcement, which is really him saying to white people, I'm with y'all.
Well, we had a peaceful protest or peaceful gathering at the Black Party for Jacob Blake, which had all of the things that you had discussed earlier: voter registration. There was food. There was dance. There was bounce houses. There was paintings. We want to focus on the unity of our community, and was hoping that would shine through.
Raymond, this is again, he comes there, does a round table with law enforcement, not community people. Doesn't do anything with community folks to talk about police misconduct. No, it's all a big law enforcement prop.
Absolutely. We talk about this a lot. This is one city, but it's definitely 2 communities. So that's what you saw today. You saw the outright demonstration of 2 communities. Where even though the damage happened mostly in our community, that's not where the president went. That's not the people he spoke to. Even the business owners that were surrounding him, the business owners in our community, even the ones that don't look like us, they're with us. One of the buildings.
So hold on. Who are those people with him? Who are those people?
That's a good question. That's a real good question.
So you're saying the people who own the businesses in the black part of Kenosha that was devastated, they weren't there?
No, absolutely not. Those people were there in the events that we've been having. In fact, again, the Danish Brotherhood. So their building was completely demolished. Instead of joining Donald Trump, they had a benefit not for themselves, for the community. They held a fundraiser for the community. So even the business owners that lost buildings, that's the kind of behavior we've been seeing. So we've been focusing on relationship and community and connection.
And so would you say that this walk around really was about, because look, in all of his talk, really was all about appealing to white voters, saying, I'm tough on crime and I'll be the one to keep everybody straight?
This was a very specific type of white voter. Because again, at our events, you didn't see just black people. You saw black and white. Now, what you saw at Trump's event, that did have a very clear-cut look. So it's not all whites. It's just a particular group that believes in what he believes in, which is the opposite of what we're about. But to your point, when you look at that audience, we don't recognize them. They're not from the area. They keep saying the same narratives. And these narratives are easily proven to be false.
Kendall, go ahead.
Yeah, I can definitely echo exactly what he said. From my vision, those people, the human beings that are out there with us in our community. We don't necessarily have a color, a shape, or anything like that. We just know that our group is stronger together. So that's essentially it.
This is some video here, some Black Lives Matter protesters, turning up, folks, walking through the Trump supporters there in Kenosha today. Well, I get a kick out of the folks sitting there talking about all lives matter, which also means Jacob Blake's life matters.
Absolutely.
Well, no, it doesn't. Not to them. That's why they spit it right back at you.
To us, absolutely, because I also believe that all lives can't matter unless Jacob Blake's life matters. Thank God he's still here with us. All lives can't matter unless Black lives matter, unless the community, all those who are inside of the Kenosha community, unless their lives matter to everyone that was at that stage rally, then I guess we'll have to see where that goes. But for the most part, I agree with all lives mattering as long as it includes all of us.
Well, we clearly know that was not the case. And so, gentlemen, I certainly appreciate you and what you're doing. Thank you so very much for your work there.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. As our community comes together to support the fight against racial injustice, I want to take a second to talk about one thing we can do to ensure our voices are heard. Not tomorrow, but now. Have your voices heard in terms of what kind of future we want by taking the 2020 census today at 2020census.gov? Now, folks, let me help you out. The census is a count of everyone living in the country. It happens once every 10 years. It is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. The thing that's important is that the census informs funding, billions of dollars, how they are spent in our communities every single year. I grew up in Clinton Park in Houston, Texas, and we wanted new parks and roads and a senior citizen center. Well, the census helps inform all of that and where funding goes. It also determines how many seats your state will get in the U.S. House of Representatives. Young Black men and young children of color are historically undercounted, which means a potential loss of funding for services that helps our community. Folks, we have the power to change that. We have the power to help determine where hundreds of billions in federal funding go each year for the next 10 years. Funding that can impact our community, our neighborhoods, and our families and friends. Folks, responses are 100% confidential and can't be shared with your landlord, law enforcement, or any government agency. So please, take the 2020 census today. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov.